In today's episode, I would like to talk to you about 10 different practices that I have implemented into my daily routine that I think has really changed my life. The first practice is practice of gratitude that I have started doing quite some time ago, and just the awareness of what I already have and just shifting this mindset from what else do I want, what else am I lacking, into what I already have and how I can nurture it, how can I bring more awareness to it and give it energy so it flourish rather than just being abandoned and not appreciated. It has really shifted something in my mind and in my life, and it allowed me to really appreciate every moment for what it is and taking positives out of it. So even when things happen that are not necessarily 100% as I want them, I still manage to find positives in it, take those little tiny lessons that I can find from those little moments that are not entirely 100% as I want them to be. Then the next habit I've started implementing is spending time with positive people. And we really grow into our surroundings. So whatever we are doing and how we're spending our time, it's becoming part of us. We internalize a lot of things that we see, hear and do. So if we are spending time with people that are negative, those negative habits, negative ways of looking and seeing the world are going to affect us whether we like it or not. Then the next thing is work in nature. So I have started implementing, since I moved actually to this area where I live at the moment, I became more and more outdoorsy. And even though I was very outdoorsy before, I loved to travel, I loved to spend time in nature. I was always excited about seeing beauty of nature. It was more like a holiday, or it was more like an occasional thing, while now I made it a routine that I try to implement daily. And there are some studies actually about walking in nature and how our mindset is changing when we are in open spaces. It's giving us the expansion and it's allowing our minds to calm, find space, and also begin to shift into more conscious ideas of how we want our life to be, how we want our life to go, and what we can do to actually start bringing changes to our life. Of course, in yoga, there is a lot about nature, and there are actually quite a lot of philosophies about how we are part of nature and how nature is part of us. But for the sake of this video, I'm not going to get into all of this today. The fourth practice is practice of meditation, yoga and breath work. So I try to do it every day in the morning, first thing when I wake up. However, it's not always possible to do it straight thing in the morning. So if I don't do it, I do it in the evening or find time to do it during the day. So this is the only thing that I don't miss anymore. It hasn't always been like this. When I first started doing yoga, when I first got into those practices, it was more like a coming back to it thing rather than the habit that had became part of my life. But it definitely is something that is part of my life now. And I can see how it is changing me and how it is changing the attitude that I have towards life and towards everyone around me, which is always positive. It's always positive, and this is why I never miss it, because it really allows me to connect to my higher self, to the best part of me. And also it's building the discipline of always showing up for myself, always showing up, always treating the body, my mind and everything, like this energy that is inside of me, as a priority. Then the next thing is eating healthy. Healthy eating is something that is giving you energy, that's allowing your body to feel light, to have loads of power to do things, that allow you to move. And there is actually 3 types of food divided into those groups of Raja, Tamas and Sattva. So Rajas is the food that is making you hyper, that is stimulating you. So under this bracket it would be any coffees, any spicy food, any food that is really making you sweat and hot. Then there is also tamasic food, which is going under the bracket of foods that are making you feel really lazy, really heavy, you don't have energy to do anything. And the third bracket is sattvic food, which is harmonious, which is the food that is giving you, it's harmonizing you, it's bringing your body into balance. So foods that are sattvic, foods that are giving you this harmonizing energy and balancing energy, are fresh vegetables and foods that are cooked from scratch. So we're not talking about foods that we buy from the supermarket, we stick in the microwave and heat it up and we call it's healthy food. Healthy food is food that is being cooked from scratch, that has been given really good positive energy whilst cooking. And also important thing to note is to eat your food when you are feeling positive as well. So the food should be fresh, it should be cooked in a manner that is positive, that you're giving the food good positive energy, and that you eat it when you sit down for a meal, when you eat it, you are in a good positive energy as well. Another thing is drinking water. So to be honest with you, I have been drinking water pretty much all my life. I remember when I was younger, my nan brought those algae that she had to feed with sugar, and the algae would clear the water that they had to live in, and we would drink it. And this is how I began to drink water. And then eventually I never stopped. So I was pretty lucky with drinking water all my life, to be honest. And it has always been the drink to drink throughout the day. Another thing I do daily is having a daily coffee with my partner. So before we move on to do our daily chores, our daily responsibilities, go to work and all of that, we sit down and we have a coffee together. Sometimes it's in bed, sometimes it's outside, sometimes it's in the kitchen, but we make an effort to spend some time in the morning together, to start the day together and have this positive atmosphere between us. And that's really working great for our relationship. So I've added that as a point. Another thing I do is I read daily. So it's at least few pages a day, but it is constant. I constantly try to read a new book, find something new to learn and contemplate. I contemplate a lot. I reflect from things that I read. I reflect, and I also do journaling. So I think I switch between the two. Sometimes I write, sometimes I read, but I always work out my brain and I do intellectual things daily. Then the next thing is I do something for myself every day. Sometimes this is part of my daily practice of doing yoga, meditation and breath work. Sometimes it's that, but also I do different things for myself, like dry brushing my body, doing like nice face mask, or just having coffee in silence, in peace, and really giving myself some time to reflect on myself, on my own thinking, and ensuring that this is my time, this is me, and I'm just doing these little things that sometimes we don't do for ourselves. We tend to do everything for others, but we don't find time for ourselves. And I think this is really, really important, because by topping up your own energy, you allow to have more of it, and then you can share nice, positive moments with everyone else. And finally, my last positive habit that I have built over time is going through the entire day before I go to sleep. So when I get into bed, I recall everything that happened during the day in my mind. And this is a really important thing, I think, because we're not only letting go of anything that has happened, but also we're working on our memory and at the same time calming our mind down before we go to sleep. And I must tell you, a lot of times, majority of the times when I do it, I fall asleep during it, so I don't finish the entire day in my mind because I just go into the dreamland. These are the 10 daily practices that I do daily, but sometimes it's not every single day. If I miss one of those things or few, or if I just take my time off and not do anything at all for a day, then that's okay. I'm not being harsh on myself for not doing it, but these are the practices that I implement and I'm aware of on a daily basis. I hope you find them useful, and I would love to hear your opinion about those practices and see if you do any of those. And if you found this video interesting, please subscribe to the channel, give us a like and leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Namaste.